New screen layouts. New layouts for business account, customer, and suppliers allows user to enter data quickly and link to the respective screens. Also allows to synchronize override data on the screens. In previous release, we had the following options for the business account. In the new release, the tab has been renamed to General. General info like address and contact details are available here. We also have primary contact set on business account. We can create the contact and associated with the account. We also have personal data privacy for account and contacts. New CRM info tab contains CRM specific information. For example, when we check the system, we can see that the CRM info tab has been introduced here. We also see the activities, last incoming activity, last outgoing activity. Contact preferences has also been added on this with contact methods. Contact tab contains list of contacts including the primary contact. If we check the previous system, we had the contact details on business account with following information. In the new release, for the same business account under contacts tab, we have primary checkboxes available. So if a business account has more than one multiple contacts, we have the ability to assign a primary contact. Shipping tab of the business account. In the previous release on business account, the following information was available. In the new release on business account, we have a new tab called shipping tab, which has shipping related basic information. Apart from that, we can also see the tax settings where tax zones, tax calculation modes can be set up. Shipping instruction also covers warehouses, shipping terms, shipping zones. So all this information is required for processing the document. Major changes to the layout of customers and supplier screen. As we can see in the previous release on the supplier, we had general info tab. This has been renamed to general tab in the new release. Along with that, the highlighted changes have been done. That is account address has been added here. We also have personal data privacy for accounts and contacts. More changes on the customer and supplier screen. On the supplier screen, when we go to the contacts tab in the previous release, the following options were available. With the new release, on the same contact tab, we have a primary checkbox. So if we have multiple contacts for a supplier, we can nominate one of the contact as a primary contact. Changes associated with account location, customer location, and supplier location. Say for example, on customer location form, in the previous release, we had general info, which has been renamed to general tab in the new release. Along with that, some additional changes have been done. That is additional location info, other settings have been added here. On the shipping tab, we have tax settings, which provides tax related information. And on the shipping instruction, it provides all the shipping related information, which is available for quick order processing. Synchronization of contacts and address settings between contacts, business account, customers, and suppliers. User can now synchronize or override the contact settings. That is the basic information, which is name, phone number, email address, etc. An override checkbox has been added to the screens. The detail tab of contact screen, shipping tab of account screen, billing and shipping tab of customer screen, payment and purchase setting on the supplier screen. So for example, when the override checkbox is cleared, contacts and address settings are synchronized with contacts and address settings of associated leads, business account, customer, and supplier. If override checkbox is selected, user can update directly and then can differ from those on the detail tab of the contact screen. Updated action menu is available on business account, customers, and supplier screen. For example, in the previous release for the business account on the actions tab, we had view customer and view supplier options available. When we go to the new release on the same business account, We can see under actions, extend to customer and extend to supplier. So these are the features which are introduced here. Improved relationship between contacts, business account, customers, and suppliers. Mainly, this functionality helps users to enter and view data, also navigate the data between the related entities. So in the previous release, we had the details tab, which has been changed to general info tab, and the following fields have been added here. When we populate the primary contact details as per the below screenshot, on the contacts tab on the business account, we had two basic changes. That is, the primary checkbox has been added. Apart from that, on the actions tab, we have the create contact. So system is capable of creating a contact from the business accounts. Primary contacts in business account, customers and suppliers. Improved layout of the contacts form. As you can see on the contacts details tab, we have an override checkbox available. So when this checkbox is cleared, address settings on the contacts and the business accounts are synchronized. If the override checkbox is selected, address settings on the contacts and the business account differs. So this is the basic change. Address enrichment functionality. This feature gives users the ability to make address information more accurate, and users can add, update address accordingly. On the enable disable features, address lookup integration needs to be checked. Enable the feature, address providers will be used on all screens that have address information, including marketing, accounts receivable, accounts payable. Specify the data about the address provider. On the site preferences, the highlighted fields needs to be populated. On the address provider, all the highlighted fields needs to be populated accordingly. That is provider ID, plugin, and plugin parameters. The new address lookup dialog box. In this case, on the first part, when we click on address lookup button, then on the second thing, address lookup dialog box opens. The third part is that enter a location box where name and address can be entered. To see the location, click on the link below. If the address is correct, user can select and click the address. Enhancements to the selection of owners. Enhancement is applicable for the following screens, that is leads, contacts, business accounts. Previous release, selection of owner, only system users with username and password were able to add. Because of the code change, the selection of the records among all the employees can be added here. So in the previous release, you can see that on the contacts, only users with username and password were able to add. But in the new release, we can see that the employees can be added here, even though they are not maintained with the username and password. Enhancements to the selection of mailing recipient. Mailing can be defined in the mailing setting tabs available on business accounts, customers classes, and suppliers. Recipient column have been added to the mailing table. If you see the previous release on the mailing settings, we have the following options available. But when we go to the mailing setting tabs in the new release, we can see that the recipient tab has been added on the table. Along with that, we have a drop-down option of add recipients and override recipients. So add recipients covers the system copies the recipient specific to notification template. Users also able to add any number of extra recipients to the table. If the option is selected as override recipients, on generation of an email, the recipient is copied only from the recipient table. Users have to manually add all the needed recipients to the table. Enhancements to the selection of mailing recipients further. You can see that in the 2019.1 release on the suppliers, we had the PCC option available under the recipients. So there have been changes done on this 2021 dot release, in which on the mailing setting tab we have add two options available, where two CC and BCC options can be selected here. Predefined user roles. New set of built-in user roles for CRM functional areas are available. By using these predefined roles, partners and customers can reduce time and effort spent on the implementation areas. The following roles are available in Marketing Manager area: Sales and Marketing Admin, Sales Representative, Support Admin, Support Representative, Viewers, etc. So now if we look at the CR Marketing Manager user role, a user role with this has access to marketing functions and settings which are relevant to a marketing manager. Similarly, for CR Sales and Marketing Admin, a user with this role has full access to sales and marketing functions and settings as per below screenshot. CR Sales Representative, this user with the role has access to sales functions and settings as follows. CR Support Admin, a user with this role has full access to support functions and settings as per the following screenshot. A CR Support Representative, a user with this role has access to support functions and settings. CR Viewer, a user with this role has read-only access to marketing, sales, and support functions and settings as per the below screenshot. Pinning of activities. In this release, users can pin the most important activities, and there would be available on top of the activities list for quick access and easy tracking. Important activities as mentioned below can be pinned for quick access and easy tracking, that is emails, tasks, notes, phone calls, etc. The following documents mainly support the new feature through the activities tab, that is cases, opportunities, and leads. So now looking at the system, we can see that under activities on the cases, a new button has been added, that is pin unpin option. So what we do is that we select the row and pin the activity. So based on that, the priority, it gets topped on the list. Enhancements in retrieving the unit rates. In this new release, the mechanism of retrieving unit rate is improved. System is now automatically capable of populating the unit rate of the line item. This enhancement is applicable for the following forms, that is projects, project templates, change orders, change requests, project codes, project budgets. Now let's look an example of revenue budget line. On the stock item form, under price cost info tab, a default price for this item is maintained as $250. When on the project screen, when we enter this line item under revenue budget, we can see that the unit rate has been correctly populated based on what has been set or what is been applicable. Similarly, for cost budget lines, on the stock item under price cost info tab, we have maintained the cost as $100. When we enter this item on the cost budget tab for a project form, we can see that the correct unit rate has been fetched as per what was maintained for this. This release introduces the ability to post unbilled reminders to particular account and sub-account. Unbilled reminder is the difference between bill amount minus amount to invoice of the pro forma invoice. Releasing the AR invoice, the system generates project transactions for unbilled reminders. Now let's look into the system to get a good idea of the functionality. First of all, on the project preferences, under unbilled reminders, we have to maintain the debit and credit accounts and sub-accounts accordingly. Later on, when we create a pro forma invoice, we can see here in the highlighted column, the bill amount minus amount to invoice is the unbilled reminder. Status of this line is put on hold reminders. When we release this document, financial documents gets created. That is nothing but AR documents. Further, when we open this on the project transaction screen, we can see that the original document type, which is nothing but the unbilled reminder, when we click on this line, it opens the project transaction form. Under this form, we can see that the original document type is unbilled remainder, and the amount which is unbilled remainder which is calculated is nothing but the difference which we discussed, and based on the debit and credit accounts which we have nominated, system posts the transactions accordingly. Processing purchase receipts. In previous version, user needs to map PO accrual account of the selected item to an account group on account group screen. To be able to process the PR, this dependency is removed and no longer required to map to an account group and PO accrual account of an item. We have two different scenarios here. PO accrual account not in an account group, and another scenario is PO accrual account in an account group. So let's talk about PO accrual account not in an account group. So for a stock item under GL accounts, we have maintained the PO accrual account as 200, 600. On account group screen for the material under accounts tab, we see that there is no linkage here. Further, when we create the transactions on the release of IR created for PR, system creates a GL transactions that credits a PO accrual account. GL transactions has been assigned as a non-project code instead of project that has been specified in the PR line. Further, when the PR is billed on the release of the AP bill, system clears the PO accrual account. GL transactions that debits the PO accrual account. Similarly, the second example was PO accrual account in an account group. In this scenario, a stock item under which a GL account, we have a PO accrual account. Under account group for this material, in accounts tab, we have maintained the PO accrual account. On release of IR created for the PR, system creates the GL transaction that credits PO accrual account. The transaction has the project specified that was selected in the PR. When PR is billed on release of AP bill, system clears the PO accrual account, that is, creates a GL transaction that debits the PO accrual account. This can be seen on the following screenshot. Time and expenses. Under this, we have two subtopics. The first is changes to the company tree screen, and the second one is crew time entry. Now let's look to the first one, company tree screen. In the previous release, we can see that the following options were available. With the new release, we can see here that the employee name has been changed to contacts, and also a new column has been added, which is nothing but the membership type. Weekly crew time entry screen. In this release, the work groups can now be used for grouping employees by crew. Activity time can be reported, reviewed, or approved for an entire crew at a time. In previous version, only an employee having a user account could be selected as a work group member. This restriction has been now removed. Any group of employee can be defined as a work group and used for entry, approval, release of time activities. New screen weekly crew time entry has been introduced here. Users can create time entry for a selected work group and also can associate this entry with a project and project task. Now let's look into the example to understand it much better. Under company tree, what we have done here is we have created a work group which is nothing but a construction crew, under which we have added these two members. Further, in order to understand it much better, we have created an appointment. Under this appointment, we have added the two members from the construction crew work group and also added an ad hoc member, that is Huming. Further, we created this appointment, we start this appointment and we enter the respective time, start time, end time, and the duration. Further, when we go to the weekly crew time entry and select the work group construction crew, under time activities, we can see that the two members from the work group has been added here. Apart from that, we also have the ad hoc member which has been added here, and then we can see the time spent as entered on the appointment. Further, when we click on the crew members, we can see that the two members who were already in the work group were added as a permanent member with the respective time, and Homing, which was an ad hoc member, was added as a ad hoc with his respective time.